the sunshine.
Hey, what's up guys? Welcome to Coffee Thoughts Podcast. I think episode 44. Probably. So, anyway, hope you guys are doing well. Sorry this is a day late. I did not realize it was Wednesday yesterday. It is beautiful here in Ontario, Canada. It's finally like summertime, which is the best because to me, like winter, I don't know. Winter's a very like introverted time for me. And I think like partially because as humans, like we're also part of nature, so I think we just kind of naturally flow with the seasons. So it's just nice, like summer, you know, or spring or whatever, just to kind of feel like that burst of like warmth and new life and inspiration. I always feel like it's a little bit easier when this time of year hits to like start working towards your goals again. If you lost that a little bit during the winter, which I do sometimes, I try to still like create during the winter, and it's easier because you're inside a lot. But yeah, I just feel like this kind of new, like, you know, oh yeah, everything's okay kind of feeling, which is awesome. So a couple little updates, tiny updates. First thing is me and my buddy Micah, who does pretty much like all my music videos, most of them we do together, and he's like one of my best friends. I've known him since I was like fucking 2, and we grew up together. Anyway, so we wrote this YouTube sketch called The Gentleman Stoners, and we finally finished filming it, and I finished editing it a couple days ago. So that's gonna drop probably this weekend. If not this weekend, then next week. But just check my socials for that. Yeah, I'm really excited. It was so much fun to film, and it's, yeah, I don't know. It's pretty. I think it's pretty funny. If you like Pineapple Express and Trailer Park Boys and shit like that, you'll probably enjoy it. Some of you guys probably won't understand it. It's probably more so directed at like Canadians, but yeah, check it out when it comes out.
Okay, Tank, I need you to cover me, alright? You know what I gotta do, man. You stay here, okay? You're already fucked. You're already fucked. And I need to make sure you're still alive when I come back, alright? You stay here, man. Yeah.
Please, promise me you'll come back.
I think when we our goal is to hit 10,000 views on the first episode, and when we hit that, we'll start making the second one for you. But anyway, yeah, so check that out. I'm really excited about that. We're also still working on our screenplay. Yeah, I think we have a writing session this weekend. We're getting like pretty close. We're getting pretty close. It's just, you know, I just want to keep reminding you guys about it because it is something that is pretty important to me right now, and this is kind of going to tie into what I talk about today. But just, yeah, it's becoming very like important to me to do it, and I know to Mike as well. But it's just the more you know, kind of see it come together, the easier it is to be like, well, that, you know, that is a tangible thing. Like the more you just kind of see it become a tangible thing, like when you're working towards something, it's really nice. So that's kind of our projects for this summer and the fall. We want to have it shot by the end of the year, and then we can start editing and whatever after. But yeah, so that's that. And also thank you to everybody who ordered Stay Cozy shirts. I have, hold on, these guys. I printed all these at home, and I think I have like maybe 5 left on my Depop, which is at Bradenberry. But yeah, everyone who ordered them, thank you. They're all mailed. All my Depop stuff is mailed. So yeah, thank you. That's awesome. It took a long time to make, and it really meant a lot. So yeah, new music, still working on it. New acoustic session on Friday. You know, a lot of people have been messaging me like, yo, are you okay? Like those, like Colorado was really sad, Anxiety was really sad. And I wrote those like in December, like I think December or January. So yeah, I'm totally fine, totally fine. I just like, I didn't get around to like actually, you know, putting them out there until now. And that's just kind of, you know, a lot of it's just I wrote these 5 songs kind of in that time. And I was talking to my mom about this recently. Like I'm always like thinking ahead. Like I know what my next album, like what I want to do for my next, you know, bit of music after these, and that's like what I'm thinking about. But I have to still finish these. So I think the reason that I'm, you know, not jumping to that is because I just, I wrote these songs and I think like I'm not feeling sad anymore right now. I'm not like still in that emotion, but I think it's, I have to honor those and still put them out there and put the work in. Yeah, which is kind of hard sometimes, because it's like what I release, I think, like as far as music, like let's just say I released, Anxiety tonight, like the full track, and you listen to it, or somebody like new listened to it, they would like probably immediately think like, oh, like this artist is like sad right now because this is what he just put out. And it's weird to be like kind of always like ahead of that, because like whatever I write, a lot of times like I wrote like, months and months, or if not a year, before I actually release it. So it's like I could be like completely in a different state. So it's just weird. It's a kind of a toss up, because it's like what I put out reflects me to most people, but it could be completely wrong. So I just want to say, like, keep that in mind, when I do release these. It's not like I'm still going through this shit, but I do want it to, help, and I hope it does. But yeah, I think what I've ultimately realized, and I did talk about this a couple episodes ago, is that I want to, after I do these, because I just have to, I'm going to go crazy if I don't put these out, and they don't necessarily reflect where I'm at now, but I need to do like a Say We Can Fly record, or just a couple songs, or an EP of just like really like back to the roots, like I even just as far as like what I do when I record now, it's so different, and like I miss, I just love to do like acoustic song, and I fucking go back and I play an acoustic lead over top. Like that's what I used to do. I just layer acoustic guitars and layer vocals, and I know how to do that again, and I think I could do it like way better than I've ever done now, and I'd like to actually go to a studio again. So anyway, that's my next plan after I put out this new music. So if anybody's just like wondering about that, that's what I'm thinking about. So all right, let's get into the podcast, man. There's a lot of updates. Okay, so I want to just touch on happiness today. I may have talked about this in previous episodes, or maybe had an episode about it, but just more of like kind of, to me at least, what I've like been feeling lately, or like recently, just about happiness in general. And I think sometimes you gotta like experience things for yourself to build a perspective, or for something to make sense to you. Because happiness to me has always been probably like it is to most people. It's like that's what you think is like the ultimate goal, and like you need happiness, and you think to yourself like, I'm gonna find happiness if I do this, or if I am here instead of here, or if I have this much money, or if I have this many followers, or if I find like the perfect relationship, or if I get this job, or whatever, if I get in super good shape, like whatever, you kind of, at least for me, it's like my whole life, it's like you're chasing that, which is this weird thing, because it is like, I know people have gone in depth about this, but it is like dangling a carrot, on a stick, like in front of your face. It's like you're always chasing it, but you literally can't get it. But the weird thing is that by chasing it, unless you're like already enlightened and understand all this shit, and like you're just, you understand what I'm going to get at. But I think as humans, that's what we do. That's what we do. It's we chase it. We chase happiness, and the weird thing is I think what we don't realize is that it's the process of chasing this thing that is really just a concept and a made up kind of idea, is where we learn everything and where we grow, and we just are never satisfied, but I just don't think we stop and realize, like, by chasing this goal, whatever it might be for you, that like literally by like the act of pursuing it is where you find happiness. Like, it's weird. It's like you're chasing it, but you don't find it where you think you will, and it's really hard to word, I think, but essentially, like, just from like some reading I've done lately, and just some things that I've listened to, it's been put in perspective in the best way that I could say it, to kind of quote some of those people, is, and this is what made the most sense to me, and like what I've kept in mind, is that happiness is a byproduct of doing the things that give your life meaning, or make you feel like your life has meaning. So when I heard it like kind of put in that way, it was a lot easier for me to be like, oh, you know what, that makes so much sense, because it's when you do the things that you know are good for you, or the things that you know are like going to get you closer to your goal, whatever that might be. Like just think about the last time you did something where you put a lot of work into something. Like the actual act of putting the work in, not like thinking about it, but like actually doing it and then having it done. Like to me at least, that's kind of what I just was reflecting on that and realized like that's when I have felt happy. Like that's when I have felt whatever happiness is, like that is when I have felt it. And that, as far as like, you know, personal growth and life stuff, and I know there's other, you know, times when you can experience it, but I'm kind of more so talking about like personal, like feeling satisfied with yourself, you know. And I realized too, it's so easy to spend a lot of time thinking about doing those things when you are under the impression that happiness is like this far away goal that you'll get to someday. And what I've been realizing is like it's right there. Like you can always do something. You can do something anytime you want that's going to provide that feeling. Like even if it's literally just like, you know, if you're addicted to just like sitting and watching TV, like getting out and going for a walk. The act of going for the walk. It's right there. And you can sit there and think like, oh, you know, maybe one day I'll get in shape and then I'll be happy. It's like right there, get out and go for a walk. Like, tell me how you feel while you do that. Or like anything that's like bothering you about yourself or about your life, if you just do one thing to just like face it and you know, work on it a little bit, it's like you feel the sense of like accomplishment and growth. And I think that's the thing that you're kind of always like trying to find. And I think that everyone probably has an idea of like their ideal life, but I really do think that this is something that's like started to make a lot of sense to me. Just is that like it is like the little things you do to start to show yourself that you can actually attain that ideal life, even if it's like small little things. Because I think a lot of what we do, or a lot of the issue that we have, is that we hold like this image of ourselves, like we just hold it. It's like our natural, like this is what we think we look like, this is what we think we are like, and we have this kind of self-reflective thing, like this is how we see ourselves. And I think a lot of times there's a lot of aspects of that maybe we don't like, or that we have, you know, trouble with. But so by doing like little things, just that you know, make you feel like you're changing that a little bit into a better version, like it literally will show you like, oh wow, like, you know, I can feel different about myself, I can feel different about my life. And the whole time, like, it's you that has the power to do that. So I don't know if this is making any sense, but this is just relevant to me because I've always had a hard time with I'm always trying to like create the next thing. I'm always trying to like outdo myself, or I just like will just sit down because I'm bored and like I just make a song and like, but I know I have all this other work to do, and I just like procrastinate on a lot of shit. And it might not seem like I do that, but I do. Like I really have my whole life. So, and that's one thing I've always had a hard time with. So yeah, recently what I did was I just wrote this huge list of like, because pretty much every day there's at least one or two things that are always like biting at me. Like I know I need to address, I know that I need to work on or do or face. And so it's like, even if I do create something, or if I do something that I enjoy, I can't fully enjoy it because those things are still there. And that's pretty much my entire life. Like that's how, and that's like obviously been my decision and my like the way that I function. I've always had the power to change it, you know what I mean? But so that's kind of something I've allowed to happen. So I wrote out this like huge list of just like a to-do list, like a massive list, and it is pretty big, of everything that I like. It's like I don't want to do this, but I have to do it. And I've just had it with me. I wrote it on like this big envelope, and I've carried it with me, like I've carried it in my bag everywhere I go to. And this is the first time I've done this. Like I've tried to make to-do lists, and it's just like, you know, I'll put it on my desk and I'll just fall on the floor. But this I've actually like, cause I think what I did, instead of being like, well, I have to get this done by the end of the day or by the end of the week, I've just been like, this is what I have to do. Like as long as I can check one of these things off, like at least like every 2 days, that's good. And like I have been working at like different little things on that list every day for the last, like, say it's only been like maybe 5 or 6 days. But it's actually it's really helped a lot, you know, because I never go to bed now feeling like I did nothing. Like it's like, even if I did one thing, like that's so much better than feeling like I did nothing. Like so much better. And you might not like think that, but it really is so much better even if you just do one thing. Because then you wake up, and for me it's like, oh wow, like I did that. Like I did that yesterday. I don't have to do that today. I can like do something a little bit more enjoyable today. So kind of what I'm trying to say is like, for me, what I've noticed, because like I'm pretty happy in general now, like I'm pretty content with my life and my perspective, but it's like there's definitely things like that that are always kind of like biting at me, and aspects of myself that I do want to work on, you know, and that's one of them for sure. So that's been really helpful, and I definitely feel like happier. I feel a better sense of well-being because I know what I need to tackle, and I know that like by doing it now, it's not going to be there in fucking 6 months when I'm trying to like, you know, make a film or whatever, or just record an album or write an album. It's like I can't remember the last time I've been at a point where I have nothing to do. Like I could actually just write an album for 2 weeks and have nothing to do. I've never been at that point because I've always kind of like let things like I procrastinate with shit, you know, and that's just the truth. So I really want to fix that, like I really do, because I want to know what it's like to have all my responsibilities done and be able to just like dive into something new. Like I'd love to know what that's like. So anyway, I don't know if this is helpful or not, but this is just kind of like, for me, like it's like these little things do give my day meaning and are helping me, remind me of my, you know, what I want to do. And it is helpful in whatever way it's like affecting me, like psychologically. It's just good. It's really good. So highly recommend that. Just make a list, make a to-do list, make a list of shit that you want to just like do differently or add into your day or take out of your day, like whatever that is for you. So yeah. And I started to do obstacle course training, which is just basically I don't know if it's meant for like having fun or if it's meant for like training, but this place that I found in Toronto is like this absolutely massive indoor obstacle course, and like I started going there a while ago, and like I've been going like every other day, sometimes like every day, and it's the absolute best workout I've ever had. Like drenched in sweat at the end of it. I use every fucking muscle in my body. Like I've never done like that kind of workouts. I've just done like weightlifting, and that also has like increased my well-being so much. And I think part of that is because, again, it's like this self-image thing. It's like you think you can't do certain things. It's like you try something new, or you try something that you like maybe thought would be really hard, and you do it, and you're like, fuck, like, okay, I can do that. You know, that's like an element of myself I didn't know that I had. And part of that for me was because like when I smoked cigarettes, like I could not do cardio like at all. So like eliminating that from my life allowed me to do something new and do something that like I never thought I would enjoy so much. And there's like a little area too where you can do like parkour. I don't know, I like training. I don't know like what those people actually do to train, but to me it's like training. It's like practice, because I go there, there's a little like parkour area, and I'll just do the same thing over and over. Like I'll hop over this barrier and like swing through this little opening and like jump up this little ramp, and like I just do that over and over until I can do it really fast. And it was nice because this one guy that worked there was like, man, do you do like parkour? And I was like, no. He's like, dude, you look like you do parkour. I'm like, no, I just like started doing it. So it was really nice because it was, yeah, it's fun, and it feels good to like get a little bit better at something every time you do it. And that's anything in life. And it feels good to just make your day a little bit better. Because I think a lot of times what happens with feeling happy is like, I think we feel like we have to make these massive leaps and like these big shifts, and like have to be in a completely different place in our lives in order to be happy. And sorry guys, the city is really loud. But you know, I feel like we think we have to like make these massive leaps in our lives, but the truth is like I think we're all capable of doing like little things every day that make our lives a little bit better. And the little steps are kind of what start to create this like foundation, because like you can't like rebuild it all at once, you know what I mean? You can't like fix it all at once. You can't get to where you want to be all in one day. Like I think it really is like little tiny things that you got to address, because your brain is fucking powerful. It's like the way that you're programmed now, the things that you think now, it's gonna take time to undo or change, and like that's just how it is. So it's like little things, little tiny things. You have to like kind of outsmart yourself a little bit, because like what I've learned too, it's like if you try to do too much too quick or change everything too quickly, it's just gonna fucking collapse. It's just gonna collapse, you know what I mean? And sometimes in life I think it's good to like make, you know, big decisions, or just a decision that might be very life-changing, that feels right, and that can always lead to something good. But I'm just saying in general, it's like, I think just little things, little tiny things, and that's kind of what I've come to feel. And my well-being has gone up a lot in a week or two just from kind of implementing this, and it's nice. And I think happiness again is really it's right here, you know. It's like we have this like fucked up notion of what it is because of society. I don't really know if that's the right word, because what is society? I guess it's collectively all of us, but just what I think in general we're taught to think, like even subconsciously, it's like you like pretty much founded on you have to be someone else or be somewhere else to feel happy. Like think about anything. It's like, here's a vacation you could take, like take a break, you know, get this product, get these clothes, you know. It's like, it's literally constant, like it's constant. It's like we're conditioned for this, and it's like you can't even help it. You cannot even help it. So it's like to even just like think like, okay, maybe I actually like could do, I have like the power to shift this here right now, just by doing a little thing or being more mindful. Because mindfulness is like a powerful thing, and it's something that you have to train yourself for. And there's certain things that like I'm pretty mindful of, and there's other things that I'm not, or like I'll think about and then I'll completely forget. And it's nice because just after a little bit of kind of like this kind of thinking, I have been able to like, you know, when I get like an urge to like not do something, or an urge to like do something else instead of what I should be doing, like I am more aware of it now, even just a little bit, which is really helpful, really fucking helpful. And it's nice. So anyway, I don't know if this helped. It was kind of a little all over the place, but that's kind of what I was feeling lately. So hope that helped. And yeah, I still have to do a Q&A episode. So I started making like a list of questions from like the last couple videos, like in the comments. But yeah, please do leave a comment and let me know if you have questions. Cause yeah, I'd love to do a Q&A episode. It'll probably be a bit longer. So maybe I will do that next week. I said I was going to do it before I left for tour, so I will do that next week. Just please, like, if you do have a question, leave it in this video, these comments, or the previous one, or the one before that, whatever. Just leave a comment if you have a question. I'll try to address as many as I can. And like I said too, I did kind of take a little bit of a break from speaking on like metaphysical stuff and philosophical stuff as well, just because I felt like I needed a break from constantly thinking about that, because it was, and it actually has like all has alleviated a little bit of anxiety. It's not like you know, I don't still feel the way I feel about things, about reality, but it's just not thinking about it all the time has actually made it a little more peaceful, because it did give me a lot of anxiety, because it's just like thinking about all the things that I talked about in previous episodes. Like, I would just go to bed every night and be like, fuck, like I don't understand any of this, I don't have an answer. Like, it would just drive me fucking crazy. And so it's been kind of nice to just let it be for a little bit, and still, like, you know, listen and read, and you know, fall asleep to lectures, and fall asleep to, you know, speeches and talks and whatever. Like, I still do that, but just to not constantly be thinking about it and talking about it is kind of nice. So I will get back into that at some point when I feel I have something new to talk about or express. But anyway, that's about it for this one. Thank you guys for watching or listening. Please subscribe if you haven't subscribed. Yeah, so look out for the Gentleman Stoners.